Navigating the news, discerning what matters from what doesn't, is a daunting task these days. For the Colson Center, I'm John Stonestreet. This is Breakpoint. Well, that escalated quickly, didn't it? 2020 just started, and within days, a U.S. drone strike at the Baghdad airport killed Iran's top military leader, Qasem Soleimani, and almost before Iran could sputter threats of revenge, notable American politicians tried to turn a momentous national security decision into domestic political opportunism. Depending on which news you read, the president's action was either a reckless attempt to light the Middle East on fire and distract Americans from impeachment, or a justifiable act of deterrence in response to Iran's increasing assaults on U.S. troops and interest. And while thousands of Iranians turned out to see Soleimani's casket as it tours the country, Western news media, like the Washington Post, reported that the drone strike has united the previously divided Iranian population behind its dictatorial religious leaders. Or maybe not. Yahoo News painted a different picture of Iranians fearing what comes next and wishing their leaders hadn't steered the country into even more conflict. And that's just the first news story of the year, of 2020, an election year. So how can engaged, thoughtful Christians hope to sift through the spin and stay informed amidst this kind of news chaos? The Washington Post alone publishes an average of 500 news stories every single day. Throw in the content churning of the New York Times, the Huffington Post, BuzzFeed, Fox News, CNN, the Wall Street Journal, and a million content aggregators, and the noise is simply overwhelming. There's simply no way to keep up with the relentless tsunami of information. Even worse, countless stories that we should know about are often buried, while stories more sensational and speculative than substantial dominate the headlines. Every day on Breakpoint, we try to analyze and comment on the most important news events and cultural trends from a Christian worldview. It's part of the Colson Center's ongoing mission to equip believers to understand what's happening around us so that we can live out our faith in the public square with clarity, with courage, and with conviction. And one of our critical partners in this task is World Magazine. World is a source of news and thoughtful analysis like no other. I and the Breakpoint team turn to them frequently. For example, the reporting of World's senior editor Mindy Beltz has been our most reliable source in understanding the chaos in the Middle East, including given these most recent developments in Iran. Back in early December, Beltz reported that Iran was building up its supply of short-range missiles in Iraq. It's the very kind of missiles that struck a U.S. base and killed an American contractor, which in turn led to a U.S. airstrike, then led to the attack on the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad, which ultimately led to the strike against Soleimani. When news broke that General Soleimani had been killed by a U.S. drone strike, I immediately asked Mindy Beltz to join me on the Breakpoint podcast to explain the bigger picture, a picture that's often ignored by an American media fixated on impeachment. World exemplifies the best of journalism from a Christian worldview, without clickbait and without hype. Their print magazine, online articles, and World's podcast, The World and Everything in It, on which I'm a weekly guest, includes not only clear reporting, but also features news about how God is working in the world through his people to restore all things. Now, to begin this year, in return for your gift to the ministry of Breakpoint and the Colson Center, World Magazine will give you a 1-year subscription. I can think of no better way for you to both support our worldview ministry and at the same time stay on top of the staggering variety of political, cultural, scientific, and religious news, all from a Christian worldview. Now, if you already subscribe to World, which I hope you do, you can actually gift this subscription to a friend or family member. Come to breakpoint.org/January to get this free 1-year subscription to World with your next gift to Breakpoint and the Colson Center. That's breakpoint.org/January. For Breakpoint, I'm John Stonestreet.